Hey there guys, I am SonicGhost and welcome to another challenge. Today we got ourselves yet another new challenge here to play in Splatoon 3. So let's just jump straight into things, but as you can tell, we're at the midst of another Splatfest happening here very soon in Splatoon 3. And this one's special as we're going to have a Splatfest themed around Easter time. We got Springfest coming up this upcoming weekend. We'll talk more about that later on, but we can hear some stuff already kind of different here just in the lobby. I figured I want to point this out now. This is one of our few times we'll be able to actually hear this in the video, so just hear some of that more festive springtime music now before we jump into the lobby and play today's challenge, which is Curling Hurl. Toss out jumbo-sized curling bombs in the Frantic Challenge. So, make way for the giant curling bombs as they glide across the battlefield. You can only use weapons that come with a curling bomb sub-weapon. Curling bombs will be enlarged. Curling bomb contact damage will be greatly increased for all players, and their explosion size will be greatly increased too. Only primary gear abilities are enabled for the challenge. Secondary abilities, no effect. So, for this challenge, as we were just told in the rules, we can only use weapons that have the curling bomb as its sub-weapon. So that means we have a total of 10 different weapons here in the game to use. 9 when you don't really count the Order Replica roller here, as it's basically the same as the Splat roller, just with a reskin. So your weapon selection is going to be a little more limited in this one, but I do feel like the weapons we get to play as, these are some pretty solid weapons, and a lot of them really do take good use of the sub of the curling bomb in combination with the main weapon strength. So this one's going to be pretty interesting, especially when it comes to the curling bombs themselves, and we'll get into that. So, I have some precious fits prepared, so we'll just be jumping straight in. First things first, using the 52-gallon deco here with some of the Splatfest gear here that I have on, representing the team I'm going to be picking for this Splatfest. So, we'll be talking about that here as soon as we jump in, save for some of the special gear they're going to give away here for the springtime event. So, let's just go ahead and without any further ado, get this challenge started. As always, I'm going to be playing 5 games, get my power, and we'll see where we stack up at the end of the said rotation, but we're going to be playing the 5 normal games and see our said challenge power. But the stuff I'm wearing here, first things first, I want to talk about the event itself, because since it's going to be another event happening here in the world of Splatoon, that means there'll be yet another stream happening here on YouTube. And that's going to be happening this weekend at the time of you watching this upload, as this will be going up the Monday before the Splatfest itself happens. So this weekend, mark your calendars, as Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be streaming the Springfest here in Splatoon 3 on my Twitch and my YouTube channel. So on what platform you want to watch, you can pick either one. That will be happening this weekend, so mark your calendars for that. Jumping into the event, as we can see here, these curling bombs are massive. They were not kidding. They talked about these curling bombs getting an increase in multiple different ways. So the explosions are bigger, the power of the curling bomb itself is bigger, the actual model is bigger, everything about the curling bombs have been increased. And this challenge is really going to want to push you to use that set sub ability just because of how massive these curling bombs are. They can kill people in one shot now with just running over your said opponent. So you're going to want to run these curling bombs around at all times, just because, as you've seen there, you don't really know if you're going to actually kill someone with just randomly chucking a curling bomb out. And a lot of times you might just be able to do that because of how the curling bombs bounce around on the field. So you definitely want to take advantage of these said curling bombs and throw as many as you can. Since you can only have primary abilities for this set event, I recommend having a lot of stuff here that can help with your curling bombs. So sub power up and ink saver sub are pretty good things, especially ink saver sub, because one of those will really help with your set curling bomb. They take 65% of your ink tank when thrown. So one main of ink saver sub, it's going to go down to about 50-ish%. So you're going to have a lot more curling bombs you can chuck. Ink recover up may also be good as well to have as an ability. Comeback and last ditch effort are also really good, just because you can use both of those to get a lot more ink, especially with last ditch effort giving you a lot of abilities by the time the game is just about over, or even when your team is already like far behind in points. So It's gonna really depend. I'm using Comeback right now specifically because I get this big increase in power every time I die, and it lasts upwards of 20 seconds, so I'll get movement perks, I'll get ink perks, so I'd rather use this for the moment, but we may be swapping it up at some other point here. Just barely got that drink in time. Now let's jump back in the field. Be careful because the shoes I'm wearing are actually shoes being given away right now via the Nintendo Switch news section for the latest Splatfest. And these shoes have Drop Roller as their ability, so using a little bit different, but hey, I kind of like how the Crocs look. Kind of a Croc guy at times, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of grew up wearing these things a decent amount because grew up in Florida. You definitely wear more like beach attire at times, depending on what you're doing, like hanging around a pool or going down to the beach, for example. Those sandals and Crocs, I kind of got used to wearing. I haven't worn these things since I was a kid, though. And I know a lot of people have mixed feelings with the shoe type, mainly because they're not the most comfortable. But hey, I think they look pretty cool, especially in this game's context. They really fit the world of Splatoon because of the multicolored effect that you have with the ink here. So I think they work really well in this context. I also have the teddy bear headpiece from the single player that you get from completing the entire thing, just because I feel like it's fitting, because I'm going to be on Team Bear for the Splatfest. And the theme for the said Splatfest itself is, what animal do you think is the cutest? Baby chicks, little rabbits, or baby cubs? So I picked the little baby cubs here, the bears. I think it's like the most fitting when it comes to just my gear set alone, because I can wear the bear headpiece, so I can represent my team in more ways than one. But honestly, it's kind of a hard one to pick this time because all three animals are cute in their own ways. I know a lot of people will definitely say that the rabbit's probably going to be the popular pick, as that's probably one of the most adorable creatures of the three set, or even just in general. But I want to try not to pick the popular team this time around, and people in my group kind of lean more towards the bear, so there it is. Be very careful now, though, because our team is going back and forth with these points, so we're doing pretty good contesting things and trying to keep the game going. So I'm going to keep that push here by throwing my special and 2 curling bombs back to back. Try to paint as much as I can. Use a combination of my main and my sub-weapon here, just because I don't want to always be chucking curlings. Unfortunately, in that section, there's way too many tiny missiles. I couldn't do anything in that section with the missiles. I'm going to jump here next to our heavy edit. I immediately want to roll out of the way just to be safe. Our curling got the guy. Surprised he was still in the line of sight for the set curling bomb. Not the best spot for my teammate to throw that cooler, but alright, sure. Got to use it immediately. Alright, throw the curling. I don't know about this one. They're at 6 and we're at 62. So we're not going to lose by a knockout if we keep on defending at the very least, but in terms of actually winning, it's going to be a push. It's not impossible, it's just going to be really difficult. So let's do our best here. Got one of them with the set curling. Oh man, I didn't even see the other one there. I was paying attention to the drop because I couldn't tell if that was a person or not. And there goes the lead change, so if they hold this point, game's immediately over. And sure enough. So first game was pretty back and forth. Not the best game for us, but not the worst, so we'll live with it. And in terms of using the curling bombs here, I think this was a good first game to get used to not only how much bigger these things are, because they are massive, but also just the sheer amount of curling bombs you're going to be seeing in this challenge, because that's the point of the challenge. Curling Hurl is going to have you use curling bombs all the time, even though there isn't any specific gimmick to it where you have more curling bombs to your arsenal, so just they take up less ink. No, it's just people want to use them because they big. So you're going to see them all the time. And that's game one, so let's go ahead and change up our gear to our next weapon here. I'm going to be using the Splash-O-Matic here, or the Sploosh-O-Matic, excuse me, as this one I feel like is a pretty good weapon to demonstrate the sub power-up as well, because this weapon's not going to take too much ink. We'll mainly inner ink a lot of times recovering, so I think a combination of using the ink saving and the ink power-up, or the sub power-up in general, should be pretty cool. Also, these pinhole shades, yet again, one of the things you can get in the Switch News app. They're giving away a lot of specific things. I believe it's 4 different pieces of headgear here, and then like 6 pairs of shoes. They're giving away a lot of stuff via the Switch Online news section, so I would definitely check out the news section in Splatoon. And this stuff usually stays up in general, even past the Splatfest. So if you're watching this after the Splatfest is over, the Springfest specific gear is still going to be there. So if you want this stuff, it's still going to be relatively available. So check out your news app for some free gear. Just keep in mind that most of it's going to be one ability slot by default. I already upgraded all the gear myself to have 3 slots with Super Sea Snail. So if you want to use this gear, you're going to have to remember that if you want more than 1 slot, you're going to have to upgrade it. And since you can't buy this stuff in the shop, you're going to need to spend snails. So maybe just upgrade some of it. Don't upgrade it all like I did. I just have more than enough snails from playing all these different events that I have snails to burn. So that's why I upgraded everything. And some of it's pretty good stuff, to be fair. But let's go ahead and jump back into Wahoo here and play game number 2. This time around, we have a more diverse team with some rollers on the other side. So everyone's using a lot of sub power up here so they can get the most out of their curling bombs. So let's be very careful because there's going to be a lot of these curlings. Gonna throw the curling myself. I'm not going to rush in just yet, even though I do have hammer. And I'm going to go now. Get that crab out of here. There you go. Should just be able to go straight in. Good. All right, let's get out of here. And now throw a curling. Now, the sub power-up's going to make the explosion bigger. It's not going to make the actual curling bomb itself any bigger, because that would be comical. How do you make this thing bigger than it already is? I mean, the graphic's so big, it clips through objects, but the hitbox got adjusted. Just the graphic itself can still go through objects, which looks really weird. But other than that, yeah, these curlings are an interesting buffed ability. Let's go in with our hammer. I'm not expecting that. Careful here. Nice. I'm just going to throw this up here, because why not? This is a really good game so far. We're doing good. Going to push into their base now as, you know, what else am I going to do? Hit my curling? Don't mind if I do. Throw another one. Gotcha. I just love being able to kill someone with the curling bomb by just chucking it like that. It's really satisfying. And especially good that in Splatoon 3, you can just throw these things above ledges and just be able to clip the ledge enough so the bomb can go on top and then run on that floor now. You couldn't do that in Splatoon 2. So curling bombs are just more beneficial in this game because of some mechanic changes. But what an easy game for us. That was a great victory. I'm the overall splatter with a combination of just using the bombs and my hammer. So that was a good game. Very fast one too. So let's go ahead and move on to our next weapon here in the pick. Although we didn't really see too much of our sub power up really, because most of the time we killed people was with the curling bomb itself, not the explosion. So maybe next game, we'll see a little bit more of how that works. But, I don't know. We'll see. Because I do have a kit that's built for that, but we're going to hold off on that one. Because I want to use the roller next here. So, with this one, this is nothing but sub-saver. So, we're going to be able to chuck a lot of curlings with this. As you can see, my ink tank here in just practice alone, I can throw 2 curlings back to back. Now, it may not be like that in the proper game because I'm not using any of my sub abilities on the gear. It's only the primaries, but I do think that the roller is going to be one of the best weapons to use this kind of setup with. Specifically, just because I'm not going to be using the roller too much, and when I do, it does take up a decent amount of ink when I do a fling. So being able to save a lot of my ink so that I can use the bombs, I think is a good compromise. Because then I can do stuff like this once I get my special. Imagine seeing 4 curling bombs back to back to back to back like that. It's going to be very devastating. So hopefully we'll be able to use our curlings, a combination of the roller, pretty effectively in the next game. And also maybe we'll get the different map, because as much as I like Wahoo in this setup, I do at least want to go the Hammerhead at least once just to have some map variety. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Hammerhead Bridge in this game, I just would like to be here for variety's sake, and here we are. I also forgot to mention before that in that Switch news section for the Springfest in Splatoon, you will also get a Springfest themed banner to use as well. So if you want to change up your banner, then again, check out that news section. There's a lot of goodies that you'll be getting right now. Let's go ahead and jump in though to this next game. Curling's coming out hot here. Everyone going in with them curling bombs. Be careful not to run into the one right in front of me. Chuck our curling, move in a little bit. No one's really here. There's only the roller that's left, so I guess we can just push into their base. Let's go. I'm just gonna keep on chucking my curlings, because I have so many. I'm I'm gonna go back here a bit, because, yeah, that's why. Let's just put down all of our specials right here. Got 2 bubbles, we got a splashdown happening. This is a very packed area right now. Careful, don't want to run to the curling. Thankfully, the big bubble will block a curling bomb from coming in, but once it's in that bubble, it's going through it. So, gotta be careful. I gotta remember for this build, I do not have stealth jump, so I don't want to just jump straight. Okay, what in the world? I got pushed back with that. That was really weird. I can't jump straight into the action because if I do, the enemy team could easily see where I'm jumping. So if I do super jump back into the game, I want to jump in areas that are far enough away from the opponents so I don't just jump straight into an enemy's line of sight. Alright, cool. Got him. I didn't even need the curling for him. I just used my standard abilities. Alright, we're going to do this. Plenty of defense going on with this big bubble. So another curling, because why not? Got you. Got you. Couldn't get the other guy, but that's fine. 2 out of 3 was a really good push. And now my team should be able to take the lead. Over here where the roller is, I think is a safe spot. So we'll jump in over in this direction. Just be careful. Stay back while the curling's happening. Speaking of which, throw my curling out. Just to kind of pressure things a bit. They do have cooler now, so they're going to have some buffs for a bit. I'm not going to jump in because that looks like a very dangerous situation. Sure enough, if I did, I probably would have joined my teammate and got killed immediately. Careful. Don't want to get destroyed here. Just going to stay back. At this point, we can't really push in too much, so it's best just to kind of hang back like this. That's not what I expected to happen. That was on me. Because I thought I was going to go around the curling bomb, and unfortunately I went straight into it, so bad judgment. Okay, good. I'm going to cook the curling a little bit because I want it to explode in the middle there, and sure enough, that worked. I'm going to charge up all my ink so I can do this. The thing we did in the practice room I want to do now. Chuck 4 curlings back to back to back to back like that. Where is that other guy? Because I thought I heard someone over here. And sure enough, there you are. Got him. Good timing. Because I would have missed out if that roller got me before I got the heavy hit. Alright, I'm going to try my best to come back. No, it's bad timing. I would have died. So, this is really bad. They're catching up to our point lead. But we wiped, so we're nowhere near this center area anymore, which is really unfortunate. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I parried that, but then it didn't matter because I landed next to another curling. It's just nothing but curlings being the problem, which is not surprising given the nature of the mode. But man, it's like every time I turn around, it's the curlings being the problem. I throw my curling. Oh god. Couldn't even anticipate that, even if I saw it, because it just came around the corner so fast. By the time I noticed, it was already on top of my body. We had the point for at least like 2 seconds, so at least I got a penalty again. Alright, come on. I just put down the bubble. That's like the one thing I hate about the special so much. It takes like a second to deploy, and by that time it deploys, you're probably dead. And if that happens, then it's a wasted special. Alright, we got the point back. That's good. I killed him with the curling as he came down, so that was really funny. He might have got me, but I think I'm the true winner in this argument. Alright, jump in the mid, even though they can see me. My team is kind of all in one area, so I should be okay. If it wasn't the heavy edit, I would have been fine. Alright, my teammate's the only one there with the Imperi Dualies, so this is not great. They are very close to a lead change. They got a wipe, so this is not gonna look great. I have to push in as much as possible here. I have like no choice. And that's it. That's game. They win. Yeah, there it is. At the last 10 seconds, that is when everything went to garbage. Because immediately, we all died. And there was no one there in the middle. So no one can defend the zone. And therefore, we just lose. Because there's nothing we can do. That really sucks, man. But hey, that was a very good back and forth game. And we had some pretty cool kills with it too, so I'm not going to be too upset. Just sucks that you always have those kind of outcomes where it's this close, and your team makes one little mistake, and that one mistake costs you the entire game. That's the unfortunate situation there, but not much we could have done. Let's move on now to our next setup, which is going to be our turn to use the in-parry dualies, but nothing but sub power up for our abilities this time. So this is going to make our curling bomb explosions a lot bigger. So in this regard, we don't really see too much of a difference here because it's the small curling, but we'll see how that looks when we get to the bigger curling in the actual challenge itself. So this is going to be an interesting one. And plus, with something like the in-parry dualies, this is not going to really use up too much ink, so I don't really feel bad sacrificing the sub power up. But this is more just for experimental purposes. I wouldn't really recommend for the challenge going all sub power up like this, because just increasing the power of the curling bomb when the challenge is doing that for you natively, not really needed. But we're doing this just for experimental purposes to see just how much bigger these explosions can be using nothing but sub power up. So let's jump in. Pretty balanced team here. And same for the air side, we're both pretty balanced. Not like everyone using the same weapon, which, when you have a limited weapon pool, it's very common to see that kind of a setup, because not everyone's going to have all the weapons to use for these set challenges. So that's going to limit people's options here. Careful of that curling. Almost got wrecked immediately. Good, we got the lead so far, but we are already losing people, so not a great start. Be very careful, because I could rush in right now using my special, which I kind of want to do, like now, because it will also destroy the curling bombs. So using the triple splashdown, it's actually good for also clearing out a bunch of curlings. Okay, this is one guy over here. There's one guy on my left. And there's another guy on my left, too. This is a really bad spot to be, though. Oh, wow. That was devastating. There was a little bit of lag on that one because of some latency differences, because I got destroyed by the sploosh-o-matic while I was not next to the sploosh anymore. That's a little bit of a latency problem. I can really blame the game too much on that. There's only so much you can do to get, perfect latency. All right, let's get this zone. Be very careful here. Oh, my team just got decimated there. Sorry, buddy. You got unfortunate with the bounce mechanics here of curlings. There we go. Take the zone. Oh, I got two of them with that. Nice. Gonna grab me one of these drinks. Don't mind if I do. I can take a little bit of the color change. Not that big of a deal. Although the curlings are kind of hard to see whose are whose in this weird coloring. Gonna keep the zone painted. At this point, I'm mainly focusing on zone. And that's why, because I knew a bunch of curlings were going to come. I didn't even see that one. There's just so many, man. It's so hard to keep up with 5+ curling bombs a second. I jump to where our crab tank is. That should be safe. Thankfully, the crab's going to block a lot of those curlings for us. Just don't be near it. It won't die immediately. Alright, if I can get a little bit more here. Give me this. Now I can be a little more reckless, because I'm not going to use my ability right away here. There's no reason. Not if I have Cooler on my side. Nice. I got two of them with that. That was perfect. But good play, the dumb play immediately. Walks right into curling bomb. Oops. Oh my god, that one I couldn't even see. It dropped right on my forehead. I wish the curling bombs killed this easily in the base game. I mean, I wouldn't want to do one shot like this. That's a little too much. But the curlings do like next to no damage when they poke someone. We saw in the training room, it's only 30 damage. They gotta hit someone with the curling bomb 4 different times just for it to kill someone, which is not gonna really do much. It's rare for you to get a curling bomb kill from the curling bomb itself. It's usually from the explosion. And even then, the explosion's pretty easy to anticipate. So a lot of people, they do avoid the curling bomb explosion. So this challenge really just shows if you buff certain attributes of the curling bomb, they are a lot more lethal. Now, how much lethal do you want to really make these? Because of balancing purposes, that is like the age-old question. Just because you don't want to over-buff something to a point where it's very unpredictable if it'll kill you or not. To a point where it's just, you don't have perfect reaction, you're dead. You don't want an ability like that, or a sub, or special, anything like that. That's why everyone right now kind of hates Trizuka in this game, because of just how well it can kill. It's to a point where it's just way too unpredictable. You'll just get hit, and that's the problem. Because if you get hit, you just die. And nobody likes that. I was waiting for that guy to be in a good spot, and I could have done a super jump to kill, but yeah, it didn't work out. Alright, good, that went over. I can move in, follow my curling, and go. Oh man, I didn't see the roller still there. I was able to at least take zone for a second, but it wasn't enough for my team to take full advantage. That's unfortunate. We're getting really close to the score changing, though. 30 seconds left. This isn't good. I don't want another game like last one where we literally was... Oh, there it is. I was like, I don't want another game like last time where we're literally winning it up until the last, like, couple seconds. And sure enough, it is happening again. My gosh, dude. This is getting really stupid now. We're having the games of you're winning for 90% and then losing. Dude, come on. How would that not keep our color? And that's a knockout. That's insult to injury. We literally were winning 90% of the game, and then we lost from a knockout, so I get nothing. What is happening? Like, the people we're playing with all of a sudden, like, their comeback ability, like, the player version of comeback, not the Splatoon ability. Like, they see that number tick down, and it's closer to 0, and their gamer skill just skyrockets, because everyone just gets so much better at the last, like, minute mark here. That's 2 games in a row that happened, and that's insane. Like, you see how well we played? Nothing I could have done different, I think, to change the outcome. We just got destroyed. So, hopefully, our final game, we can actually fight back. Because our final one here, we're going to be playing with the heavy edit ourselves, so we can use the Tacticooler to our advantage. So, hopefully, we'll take advantage of this said ability here. Now, that game, we used a bunch of sub power. It really didn't feel like it made a difference, which I kind of figured as much, but this game, on the other hand, since we're using a hat that has the special power up, we're gonna have Tacticooler active for a lot longer, and since it's our primary ability, this is gonna be active for roughly 20 seconds, somewhere around there. So this is gonna be a good cooler. It's just a matter of we're gonna have to really be careful with it, and hopefully we get a good team to balance things out. So, pretty balanced setup here. That's pretty good. And the other team, once again, pretty balanced. So, we'll see how this goes. Final game back here at Wahoo. I've noticed a trend that Hammerhead Bridge, thankfully, is the map we didn't play too much this time, which I'm fine with, because I'm not the biggest fan of Hammerhead in this. I think it's a massive downgrade from the Splatoon 1 version on the map. I thought the Splatoon 1 version was just so much better, because it had a lot more going for it, while Splatoon 3 version barely has any paths, and it's a very linear map, which is the biggest problem with it. At this point, I'm mainly just going to be playing this more around my main weapon, not the curling bombs as much, as this, I think, is just going to be a better thing. Although, in this case, him with the curling, because that's just funny. Gonna keep this area painted. I'm mainly just gonna focus around the zone, let my other teammates take care of other things. I'm more of a support weapon, so I'm better off staying here, keeping zone all painted up, but also at the same time farm out my special here, because my special is really beneficial for the whole team, not just me. At this rate, we're not gonna let them get the zone, because we're basically at the last 10-point marker, and I think this is gonna be game here in a second. Yeah, look at that. Dude, why is it when we do the dumb things, we lose immediately, but when I try good, we do amazing? Oh, that's right. It's because I'm trying. Oh, sorry. The light bulb just triggered in my head. Because I've noticed that the first game was very back and forth, which was a game I was trying. The second game, we instantly won, because I'm trying. The third game, and the fourth game, we gimmicked. Didn't work. Fifth game, we put our trying boots back on, and boom, we win. It's a very consistent thing. Maybe just don't do stupid things in challenges and you'll get a good score, like 1780, which isn't bad. Although, based on how I played this last night, because I played the first round of this at 8 p.m. Eastern, I noticed that that score that I got was like an 18 something. That was a top 50, so this might also be a top 50 actually, which I'm perfectly fine with. But hey, because it's Splatfest season, we do get a roll, so we get to see what do we get from this conch shell. So what do we get? Ink sloshing musical instrument? Slosher machine isn't an instrument either. Come on, man, that's a weird title. I feel like that would have been more fitting for the last Splatfest coming up, as it was the music-themed one. Not the animal cuteness-themed one that we're having now. That feels a little bit weirder, but that's gonna do it for this said challenge. I found this one to be very fun, kind of like the last challenge we did, where it's just a goofy idea. This is just taking a normal game mode and then just cranking up the silly meter, essentially, because these curling bombs being as big as they are, I think is just really goofy. So hopefully you had a chance to play this one yourself, and if not, hopefully this challenge comes back at a later date, because this one was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed my time playing Curling Hurl, so hopefully we'll see this one come back at a future date. But that is going to do it for this said challenge video, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And again, as a reminder, if you're watching this stream the week it goes up, there will be a Splatfest this weekend, and it will also be happening here on YouTube. So if you want to see more Splatoon 3 content, come back here this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern to watch the latest Splatfest here, which is Springfest, which is a big deal. The whole world's going to be changed around more than normal for the said event. So hopefully I'll see you there. But with that said, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.